that guy can no longer email us. He'll email us, it goes into the abyss. So because I'm not going to have anybody that works for me waking up on the Sabbath when they're supposed to be thinking about how they can be better and about God and about all those things. And I'm not going to
Regardless
have
of what they did the night before, no one should wake up to that.
I'm never going to have anybody that works for me having to deal with that on a Sunday morning. Hello and welcome to the Fat Jack Sports Hour. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm your host, the Fat Jack. The weekend, what a great weekend it is. I mean, we're going to talk to Mr. Brandon Rush from Louisville, Kentucky, but it's a great weekend for a lot of different reasons. Number one, we're offered a special I've never offered before ever. Number two, this is the weekend in Brandon Rush from Louisville, Kentucky. Let me give you the introduction so you can come out from behind the curtain, because this is really to you. This is the weekend that, and by the way, Fat Jack Sports Hour, you're ready to make some money. Now's the time. Listen up. Get signed up. Long-term clients are going to have a great year. Those of you who sign up for a day or a weekend, you might have a great year. So time to get signed up this weekend specifically, a good weekend to get signed up because of what I was getting ready to say. This is the weekend, Brandon, that we talked about in the summer, that if your wife really hates all of your friends, or not your wife, your fiance, and you're getting married this weekend, hates all your friends, or basically hates football, or maybe even hates you. She planned her wedding this coming weekend. This was the weekend. This was the one that was really difficult for people to kind of wrap their brains around because there were so many good games coming up this weekend.
Right.
So I guess my question to you is, now that we've had mayhem, I mean, literally our pets' heads are falling off. I mean, we've got from Dumb and Dumber, we can't get in the social pipeline. Our pets' heads are falling off. That whole scene where their bird has no head. That is going on right now in not only the world of sports gambling, but a lot of blue blood universities around the country, starting with Alabama. I don't even want to talk about explaining that one. There is no explanation. I have a theory of why some of the parity has come into play that has it's more of a theory than it is this is what's going on, because I don't think we really know yet why we're having such variance, because I don't know that it's necessarily parity. We're just having a lot of variance. We're having because the teams like Oklahoma, the teams at the bottom, who aren't getting the NIL deal done as efficiently, they're not coming up. I do think there's something to that. But I want to talk to you. Is the weekend has a little less varnish because some of these matchups Tennessee loses on the road at Arkansas? Where are we as far as this weekend goes, as far as what it was in, say, July?
Yeah, you're right. When the schedule came out and you started looking at, Oklahoma, Texas, and then Ohio State, Oregon, those still have held their importance. Those are top 25 games. Ole Miss, LSU. So there's certain pockets around the country that are still going to be affected by any weddings that happen between, say, Thursday night and Sunday. But some of the luster has worn off, but I don't think it was a result of maybe so much what happened last week. It's just been an attrition throughout the season that this Saturday has lost maybe a tad bit of luster than it had, say, back when everyone realized, holy crap, don't get married on this weekend. But there's still some banger matchups this weekend. And college football will definitely be getting a workout, because there are some very good, very fun games this weekend.
I'm getting ready to bring all the shine back to it.
All
if
right.
you're betting on sports, this is your weekend, because I'm going to offer something I've never offered before. I got this from never in the history of FatJackSports.com, never offered this, but I got this idea from actually another handicapper. I won't give him personal credit. I'll just tell you that he did this, and it really makes a lot of sense. For years now, Brandon, I've been trying to figure out a way to get the lower, maybe not the lower end player, but a guy that bets a little less money per game, and or a guy that just cannot stomach himself to get signed up, to invest long-term, and to make money over the course of the season. And there's a people, for whatever reason, ego, stubbornness, bankroll, whatever, there's people out there that just cannot pull the trigger. So I've never offered this before. I probably never will again. But I thought this would be a great weekend to do that, because you have so many marquee matchups, a lot of games going on in college. NFL is always big. And last week's NFL, we'll talk about the NFL a little bit more going forward, but last week's NFL, mayhem for the general public again.
Yes.
There were some spots where the general public did okay, but it was, if you did not get lucky on Sunday, you did not make money. If you got unlucky on Sunday, you did not make money. And half of the games, either side or total, if you look at what numbers came down on the number and or had walk-off field goals at the end, or overtime, half of them, just about. And that's a very high amount. I mean, normally it's like 20%. 20% are going to have 25%. You're going to have 1 out of 4, either a side or a total, if you looked at all of the possibilities, will come down to what happened in Buffalo and Houston. What happened in
Cincinnati.
Cincinnati. What
Yeah.
happened in even Miami, New England, where they come down late and they score late and then they have to hold them at the end. There were 3 walk-offs in the early time zone in the noon Central kicks. 3 of them were walk-offs, all field goals at the end. You had the overtime game with the Jets in Minnesota here in London. I'm in London. I should say that right now. I'm in London. And you had, Jets driving late. Aaron Rodgers throws his 3rd interception of the day. That preserves the under, which was it was 42 and the total was 40. It also, if they get in the end zone there at the end, they cover and win, and Minnesota doesn't cover it in. So that one, you had to survive some stuff at the end. Those are just a highlight reel of all of the different bets that came down on the number. A very high amount. We didn't talk about overtime a week ago Thursday, Atlanta, Tampa Bay. So you get overtime, that type of thing. So in all of these spots, you took some luck, good luck or bad luck, depending on how you did. Now, that's fine. Again, those even out over the year, not a big deal. FatJackSports.com. So I'm going to offer a deal that allows a guy that is betting lower to at least get something positive going to his bankroll. So go to FatJackSports.com. You're going to see the first package up is the 2x2x2x2. It was going to be the 2x2x2 special. It was going to be it's $32. You're not getting all the play. I know, exactly. You're not getting all the plays.
If you're not watching us on YouTube, that sound you heard was my neck just going, it's the Scooby-Doo. What?
Yeah, never happened before. Because frankly, Brandon, over 27 years, you know this, all my clients know this, and that's why I'll never offer this again. If it goes well and people do what they should do, and it's really going to be up to the guys that sign up. Let me get the special out there and we'll talk about it. But 2x2x2x2. It was going to be the 2x2x2, like Denny's, where you get the eggs and the bacon, whatever. And it was going to be you get 2 NFL games, you get 2 college games, and you get 2 Major League Baseball playoff games. Baseball playoffs 6-2 again last week, 3rd week in a row where they've made at least 3 or 4 games of profit for free. There will be playoffs going all weekend long. So you're going to get, for $32, you were going to get those 3: 2 NFL, 2 college, 2 Major League Baseball playoffs. I went 2x2, one more. Because the player props have been so good and so efficient over the course of the season. You're not getting soccer. You're not getting UFC. You're not getting any of that. But you're going to get, for $32 this weekend only, the plays will go out on Saturday. They'll go out on Sunday. You're going to get 2 NCAA football games plays that are in our top group. All right, so it's not just you're getting 2 extra leftover ones.
These are 2 Saturday games that normal clients are going to that regardless of what package you're on, you're going to be getting these games. But if you're just dipping your toes into this $32 package, you're getting 2 of those plays on Saturday.
2 on Saturday. You're getting 2 NFL plays on Sunday.
Okay.
Also, same thing.
Plus 2 props.
Plus 2 prop bets on Sunday.
And then baseball either Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It'll be Saturday, Sunday, because I'm going to give everybody until the end of the day, Friday. So it'll be to get signed up and get it, because I'm not going to send any more than that. Here's the deal. Here's how we're going to find out if I ever offer this again at FatJackSports.com.
Okay.
If the people that sign up will do the fiscally responsible thing, and after I win them money this weekend, because we're going to have a good weekend, we almost always win this weekend, they go and they sign up for a longer package. You don't have to. There's no auto debit. There's no, I'm not going to make you or do any. I'm never going to call you back. There's none of that. I'm not doing anything to make you. What I am going to do is hold you accountable for your decision. If you sign up for $32 and you get all these plays, 2 NFL, 2 college, 2 props, and 2 bases, and we do what we're going to do, which is win you money, then I'm going to hope that you on Monday before the Monday Night Football game go on and sign up for a longer package.
Whether that's a week, a month, a year.
Something longer. Get consistent winning plays, because, Brandon, if we've been consistent for one thing on here over 27 years, it's if you're not getting long-term quality plays, you're going to have a lot of trouble making money.
Yep. And
some years start out great. And I go 9-1, 9-2, 9, but eventually I'm going to have a 3-7. of 4 and 6. I'm gonna do those. Now we're just talking about football. We're not talking about, because the only people I'll hear from via email that I don't read. I read one because it was so funny. We're going to talk about it after the break. We're going to talk about one of the hate mails, because the guys that receive the hate mails, they normally don't do anything. They just delete them and move on, because we put you in the category of you're either a baby or an idiot if you're
or a drunk baby
or
idiot.
a drunk, and you're emailing somebody that's betting tens of thousands of dollars per game on every game, and you're emailing him to make sure he knows that you did not do as well on one particular day or one particular game as you had wanted to. Like we don't know.
Right.
We know exactly how you did when you lose. We know exactly how you did when we win, because we're betting all the games. It's a difference between me and all these other handicappers. But every once in a while, somebody throws in a nugget that is so deep and so well thought out, so well crafted, that they send it to me and they say, "Hey, Jack, look at this guy. This guy's either on meth or has just murdered his wife. Something's happened here outside the realm of sports gambling, and he put you involved in it. We wanted you to hear it." So we'll read about that after the break. But go to fatjacksports.com. Get signed up today and make money this weekend. We got so many games to talk about, Brandon.
By the way, $4 a pick on this package.
Listen,
what are we doing?
Don't ask me for this next week. Okay? I'm not answering any emails. And everybody's going to have a standing thing in the office. If you email and say, "Hey, Jack, I missed out on your $32 2x2 by Diddy Slam breakfast," or whatever it is, that I would no, it's probably never happening again. And we won't know for months whether it does, because the guys that sign up for this, I'm going to expect them to do the right. If they don't do the right thing, I'm never going to offer it again. It's
right.
not. You can't live. People, they hate on my lifestyle. They hate on what I do. They don't really, dude. If you're on the season package and you're paying $300 a month, I'm not living my lifestyle on that. That is not a thing. All right.
No.
I bet thousands and tens of thousands of dollars. $300 a day doesn't, or $300 a week or a month does not pay for a yacht. $300 doesn't pay for Teslas, doesn't pay for Bentleys, doesn't pay for houses. None of that. I bet these games, I win. That's how we make money long term. That's it. So $32. I'm not I can't eat. I'm in London right now. I can't go out here to McDonald's and eat for $32. All right. So I don't want to hear about I want that next time. What I'm doing is I want guys who don't normally get on board because of money or for whatever reason. I want to take a shot, get some plays that are going to be quality plays that we're betting. Hopefully we're going to do what we almost always do in October, which is make a lot of money. We're going to make you money, and when we do, you're going to sign up long term. Go to fatjacksports.com. What jumps out at you this week, Brandon? There's so many marquee matchups. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on last week's losses. Everybody knows what happened. Tennessee lost.
Which,
Alabama.
by the way, we were on the show last week. You said, "quote, I am intrigued by this Tennessee-Arkansas game," and you laid it out perfectly as to why you were intrigued of it. The way it went, the way it did, was, a little bit shocking in the end result. But to go back and listen to the show and recap the conversation that we had, writing was there, right?
If you listen to any of my shows around the country, you heard that was my lead-in game. Brandon, listen, the weeks that we don't go 10-2, trust me, you know who benefits from those weeks? The people who listen to me around the country. I don't ever not hit 50% of my games. If I handicap every game, I never don't hit 50% ever.
Sure.
So if our plays at the top get beat by variance or just by a bad pick or by something fluky, rest assured that the information going out to all the markets I'm on around the country that go out on the TV show and certainly on this show every week are going to be nothing but winners most likely. Because for whatever reason, I didn't release that game.
Mm-hmm.
And I did release Connecticut that ended up winning by 8 with a scoop and score at the end instead of by 14 or whatever. So there's going to be spots where like that I'm going to be absolutely dialed in after the fact. That's what really causes frustration in my life, is the fact that I always have the winners. It's just a matter of whether I have handicapped them well enough to put them in the group to get them out to the client. So
right.
That becomes a frustrating thing. So Alabama loses. We're not going to talk about that. I've shunned that game.
Everyone's hashed over that for the last week.
And I didn't play it. I didn't care about it. It's not like
wasn't on the board.
Wasn't anything. Wasn't an elite play. Wasn't a top play. Wasn't a free play. Wasn't anything. So it's not like I have sour grapes. I just not going to. But like Washington, I had Washington. I talked about Washington all over the country, in detail. That was the first time ever, Brandon, that a national champion I say ever, since like 72, before we had actual true national champions.
So really ever.
Yeah, that a national champion that was ranked in the top 10 was getting points from an unranked team. First time ever. So you didn't have a Michigan team that had won the
Wasn't
national
the same.
championship.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't the same Michigan team that won the Natty last year.
Yeah,
Right.
you had the top 10 team. This is not a team that anybody was expecting to do bad things. You know, they're going to expect a regression, but not go out and lay an egg. They're getting points from Washington, who, by the way, is 21-1 their last 22 at home, now 22-1. Those type of plays were there. They didn't go out to my clients. So that's really, really aggravating and irritating, because there will be that jackass or two that just makes a decision based on one weekend or one
Yeah.
little stretch of games, and he will not be around for all of the 50 to 60 games of profit that we generate every single year. He'll miss out on that because of what's happened over a couple of weeks early in the season, and that's frustrating for me. So, but it's the way it goes. You know, some people just are going to lose betting on sports, and others
Right.
are not.
If you can't handle the lows, you don't deserve the highs. Like
And
if you can't process and wrap your head around, hey, sometimes you just get a little bad luck. Sometimes just all the ducks aren't in the same row, and you get mad and throw yourself around on the ground like a child about that. You don't deserve the 10-2s.
yeah, and
So
if I could draw it up, if I could write a book, Brandon, on it, I would absolutely write it in one of the first 2 or 3 weeks. We need to go 10-1.
mm-hmm.
Then we could have a small loss, and then in October we need. But I would write it like that, because I understand everybody wants that big 10 or 11-1 early in the year to build their bankroll. Then they have a little more faith, let's call it that, if they're new to the service. I get that. Sometimes it doesn't happen that way. What does happen is we always win. So there's no question, we're gonna have a great year. So it is time to get signed up. All right, games going this weekend. Iowa,
Yes.
Washington. I'm going to read off 3 or 4 and want you to tell me which one you're most interested in. I'll read about that because Washington, after a huge win, is now an underdog at Iowa.
Little
Iowa
fishy.
can't score on most teams. By the way, Missouri lost last week. What a fraud they are.
Yep.
Didn't have any of that either. But yeah, that game. Texas, Oklahoma. That's important just because of where you and I are from, or where we grew up. Oklahoma down. You know, that thing's been going between 14.5 and 16 as far as Texas being a favorite. Texas now the clear number 1 team in the country, with Georgia losing to Alabama, then Alabama getting smoked by Vanderbilt. Ohio State moves to number 2. That's a whole nother show. We want to talk about who's number 2 in the country, who should be number 2. Those are a couple. Florida, Tennessee lost most of its luster. Florida certainly underachieving on the year, even after their win last week at Central Florida. Ole Miss, LSU, that has moved up into one of those higher echelon games. Ole Miss a 3-point favorite at LSU. Ohio State, Oregon, you mentioned that one before we got on the air. Right, we got on the air. Ohio State 3.5-point favorite at Oregon. 2 and 3 in the country. That's the marquee game. So I guess game day will be in Oregon. They're just going to stay out west.
I would imagine that's the case. Yes. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, that is probably going to be the best game of the day. In terms of, I mean, you get 2 and 3 any time of the year, it's going to be impressive. The fact that that's now a conference game, added luster, and for me going into the weekend, you know, we said last weekend that it was an opportunity for road teams to, you know, it was a test week for a bunch of those teams. This week, I think we're going to have the pants removed off some teams who think they're contenders or at least competitive. And I feel like this Ohio State Oregon game is one of those that I feel, and again, I talked about Oregon before the season, that they were probably my dark horse for the national championship. I don't see how they win this game, even with it being at home. I think Ohio State is phenomenal, and Ohio State and Oregon, I think, is just going to get worked by Ohio State.
Who's Ohio State's best win? Because we always have to look at that.
Yeah,
look at
it's a valid question. I mean, the best win they have is I mean, I think the way they beat Iowa last week is probably the biggest statement they've made to this point. I mean, a 28-point home win against a team that I think a lot of people respect defensively.
Well, I agree with that, but I think you're allowed to turn 10-point wins into 28-point wins when you're pretty sure the other team couldn't score your 15. Right. I mean, when they're literally not playing one side of the ball, and that's what you have at Iowa. So that I'm not saying that, like, let's say if I thought Ohio State was going to kill them, I'd have bet the house on Ohio State. But what is evident in that type of game that is if Ohio State got up 14 to 17 points, that could easily turn into 28 points because you're going to become so much more predictable. This Iowa team that can't score when they are able to stay balanced in their offense, when they can't because they're down 2.5, 3 scores, they have become one-dimensional, shorter fields, more turnovers, more predictability. So, I mean, we'll see. It was a good win, but you're playing the team at one side of the ball. Ohio State 5-0 against or straight up its last 5. All the numbers, they're 6-1 their last 6 on the road. Who's a favorite right now? Ohio State or Georgia, if those two play on a neutral field? You have a guess?
Oh boy, I would probably believe Georgia would be a slight favorite just because I think their defense is better than Ohio State's.
So this number 2 team in the country, who we think might be phenomenal, we're going to find out because I do think Oregon to be a good win, especially on the road. I'm glad it's there instead of
in Columbus, right?
Yeah, but I'm not sure that either of these teams are favored. They probably are over Alabama. Alabama's imploding a little right now. Besides what happened at South Florida, besides some of the spots during games that we had seen earlier in the year, Vanderbilt lost, at least from a psyche standpoint. Now, this is a different conversation in 2 months if they go out and they, get back to being Alabama. But right now, wow, I don't know. That is a tough locker room. You saw that spilling over on the field when Vandy was taking. It's hard to even say Vandy taking knees to be Alabama. Who in the world?
With a straight face, right?
Make nothing of that game if you're out there, right? And we talk about later in the year about the parity with the NIL and those type things, but that's a deal for another show. I will not be acknowledging that loss or that one happened from a handicapping standpoint. So
yeah, that's an anomaly that you just you put a pin in and stick it way back here, like on this wall, and just say, yeah, that happened, but that doesn't mean anything as it comes to this week.
Yeah, so I'm going to look at a game. I do think we'll give away a free winner here before we take a break, come back, talk about the NFL, and get people signed up for this incredible, I'll call it a 2x4 special, but 2x2x2x2, two NFL, 2 college, 2 Major League Baseball playoffs, and 2 prop bets. My clients and I, we will be playing a lot more games than that. And if you're playing everything that we're all playing, you're doing fine this year. Baseball hasn't had a losing week yet. Player props won again on Sunday. Soccer's still having a great year. UFC won again last Saturday. So you're getting all the plays. You're doing great. Doing good, not great. If you're getting some of the plays, you're not doing as well this year. Now that will turn, and we'll get deep into profit. But right now, it's important that you get as many as possible. But if you're a lower end gambler or just want to take a shot, $32, 2 NFL, 2 college games, 2 Major League Baseball playoffs, and 2 prop bets for $32 at FatJackSports.com. Ole Miss, LSU. This is an Ole Miss team that, after losing a couple weeks ago, I think offensively they are the real deal. They're not as good on the road as they are at home, and their defense is not as good on the road as not at home. This is a team that does not travel well with their defense. 64 is the total in this one. I think there are a ton of points in this game. So give me over. My first free winner of the day, our first free winner of the day for the Fat Jack Sports Hour. It's over in probably the second marquee game of the entire weekend, which standalone would be a game day situation.
Yep.
And I'm assuming we taped this early in the week, so I'm assuming they're going to or staying.
They
out.
I just saw. Yeah, they are going to Oregon this week.
Yeah, so. It makes sense. 2-3. I mean, why wouldn't they?
Right.
By the way, Cal kid make the field goal on game day for $100K. Good for him.
Yeah. In some like lounging Vans shoes. Like they weren't even like running shoes. He's just out there in boat shoes and just
if
knocking
there
through.
Was one school so far that you would think would not have made that field goal.
You would have thought Cal, right?
And honestly, one kid, you're right. I mean, he's wearing skateboarding shoes. He didn't take them off. He didn't, and actually kicked well. The first one was good in them too. So kids played some soccer, or played football in high school or something. I mean, clearly has enough leg to make it, and good for him. But that school you would not expect would produce the field goal kicking winner to this point. We'll see how Oregon's kids do.
The president of Vans, the shoe company, like reached out to the kid and apparently is like going to send him stuff too. So hell of a weekend for that guy.
Good for him, man. Yeah. You love a good story. Everybody's so mad right now, Brandon. We're going to talk about it after the break, but everybody's mad. Dave Portnoy's on Twitter. He's yelling at everybody. He's mad at who was he mad at this? Missouri, maybe? I don't know who. Mad at them. Everybody's so grumpy right now, guys. if you know what you're doing and you know how to win long term, you don't worry about a day or a weekend or whatever because you know it's coming.
Yep.
Relax. Enjoy your October. Turn the smoke down a little bit, all right?
Best month of the year.
Best month of the year. Thank you, Brandon. Thank you for putting it back into perspective for all these Bushmen. Ole Miss LSU over the total. Get on that. Don't go anywhere. Go to fatjacksports.com. Get my special this weekend, or better yet, sign up long term. Get all the plays. That's going to get you in. That's what obviously I want you to do long term because I want you to win long term. Great deals available there on the website. We're going to get you into profit starting this weekend. Go there right now. Go to fatjacksports.com. Don't go anywhere. Take a quick break. Come back. I want to read off one of the hate mails that I got. Just a little dive into the brains of one of the idiots that signs up for the service. Now, I have thousands of clients, so this is the very, very small percentage.
This is the 1% of the 1%.
I received 7 total. I think I got a report on how many people sent crap, and I don't ever get that either. But I thought, I'm in London, the hours are off. I got 7. So
I got time today.
Yeah, I had a little time, so I thought, well, I'll get a report. Somebody tell me how many we got. Oh, we got 7. Didn't read any of them. Didn't respond to any of them. Don't care about any of them. But because the other 987 whatever people that didn't, more than that actually, they don't care. They don't want me spending any time responding to some guy who's not winning quite as much as he wanted to last weekend on a couple of games. So our Sunday went from a winner to a loser basically on the Buffalo extra or field goal. That was a 60-yarder. So.
And Sean McDermott's decision to not understand time management late in the game.
I don't know what that was. I get trying to get out of your own end zone so that the punt would have gone deeper, but it's easier to question after the fact. I do question some of the throws. I would have rather Josh Allen tucked it and run.
Especially after he got spaghetti brained because his head bounced off the turf a couple plays earlier. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, one of those things. The NFL, you can almost always, any loss, not any loss, but most law, you can do something like that. Don't be worried. We're going to come right back. Get into more of the NFL, get into other games going on Saturday, deal with a little hate mail that'll be funny, and so much more. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to the Fat Jack Sports Hour.
Hey guys, this is the Fat Jack. Are you finally ready to get a better plan betting the games this year? Let me help. Go to fatjacksports.com where we understand that it's not the gambling she hates, it's the losing. fatjacksports.com.
This is Brandon Rush from the Fat Jack Sports Service. If you want to stay in touch with everything related to the Fat Jack, follow us on all the socials: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, you name it, we are there at Fat Jack Sports. You can also watch the Fat Jack Sports Hour on YouTube every week. Get free winners and tips on how to become a better sports bettor. Plus, see Jack's appearances on the nationally syndicated TV show Beat the Odds. Stay connected with the Fat Jack Sports Service at Fat Jack Sports on all the socials and on YouTube. Welcome back to the Fat Jack Sports Hour. And now here is our host, a man who has more ways for you to win in October. He is the Fat Jack.
Thank you so much, Brandon. Fat Jack Sports Hour, segment number 2. My daughter got the Wordle in 2 today.
I got it in 3. I thought I was doing something today, but
I don't. 2's good. I haven't done it yet, so we'll see how that goes. But fatjacksports.com, get signed up. Great. I mean, once in a 27-year deal right now. Although I think the people in Florida said that about the hurricane that came through about a week and a half ago.
Yes, now they got 2 in 20 days. Yeah,
right back at them. This is by the way, an area. People say thoughts and prayers. I'm literally praying for the people in South Florida. I have relatives that every night when I go to bed, I pray for a lot of things. But I have added to that list the people in the Tampa Bay, St. Petersburg, Sarasota area. As you know, Brandon, I spend a lot of time down there. Some of my favorite people in the entire world live in Clearwater,
yep,
which is right in the middle of this thing. And the last one that hit up closer to the bend, they had like 6 inches of water in their house, came up over the seawall. I get it. If you live on the ocean, you get this. But my gosh, this is not good. So if you're a religious person at all, which I am,
and even if you're not,
yeah,
at least spare a moment to be like, hey, think about those people for a bit.
Yeah, pray for less damage and destruction, and as importantly, donate to Red Cross or somebody. I mean, they're going to need so much stuff, and this has nothing to do with the people living with yachts on the water. I mean, this is literally normal people that live inland and are getting ready to most likely be decimated. My thoughts and more importantly, my prayers are going out to them that God will spare a lot of them. So, in this the days ahead, or the days behind, I guess, by the time this show runs. But anyway, FatJackSports.com. Get signed up. Get that 2x2x2x2 special. Worst branding name in the history of specials.
8 for 32. I mean, we can still brainstorm it, I guess.
Yeah, you're getting. I mean, it's such a new and temporary thing. I'm not sure that it even matters.
Do we need to divulge that much time towards it?
Let's not make shirts up just yet, because I suspect that if I get 500 people sign up for this, and we'll have a bunch, but I mean, if I get 5, then I'll maybe 50. If I go 8-0, I think 50. But losing gamblers, Brandon, that's a mindset. I'm not new to this. We've been doing this for so long. The guys that want to win, they're able to apply common sense when they go to the website. Go to fatjacksports.com, click on the results tab. One thing we don't get are a lot of people saying, you don't track your results, and you don't tell us this, and you're not telling us the truth. I don't get any of those.
No.
Because I do. Every game is posted and documented. All you got to do is go look. You can see it. And at the end of and by the way, while you're there, go to last year. Look at last year's 60 games of profit. Go to the year before that. 60 games of profit. Go to basketball season, 75 games of profit. Be sure and do your research. If you're going to go there, do your research. And what you'll find are years and years and years of winning plays. So we don't get that. So if I go 8-0, I expect 50. The rest of them, it's a mindset. When they change their mindset, they'll change their results. They'll change their outcome. So do that. Go to fatjacksports.com, $32. 2 NFL, 2 college, 2 player props, and 2 bases going this weekend. College game number 2, Brandon, that you're interested in. Let's talk about Oklahoma, Texas.
Yep.
Because I don't care. I spend a lot of time in London right now. I spend a lot of time in both coasts and different things. But my heart will always be in Oklahoma.
and especially this weekend at the Texas State Fair with a Fletcher's corn dog and a beverage and a wax cup.
It's the best. I grew up. I've told this before. I sold Cokes at the OU game from the time I was in 3rd or 4th grade. That is so illegal. But
child labor laws have changed since the 80s.
4th grade. I remember because I walked over. I went to Lincoln in East Norman.
Yep.
Walked over and before the thing, did my shift. You give $24. They give you $34 worth of Cokes. You sell them for $1 a piece and you make $9. When you're done, you take $24. You go get 32 Cokes. Sell them, you make or whatever it is. I forget but it was about $8 or $9 per 32 Cokes that you would drag out of there and go sell up and down the stadium stairs. This is 1979, I guess, 1980. So, and then OU Texas, I've been to probably 30. In my life, I've been to 30. I was there at Commerce Street when people were down there and the fire trucks would come through and blow everybody off the road with the fire trucks and the hoses. Back when men were men and drunks were still hanging out on Commerce Street.
I got hit in the back of the thigh with a beanbag bullet once because of the Dallas police of a night that will live in infamy in the Deep Ellum, the West End. Yeah.
You don't know pain till you've been hit in the back of the thigh by a beanbag from a Dallas PD down on Commerce.
It is it's a life experience, that's for sure.
I mean, it was amazing. That was back when it was mayhem but nobody cared about anything. I mean, just Wild West. But now we got this. Everybody's going to the fair. They're spreading out before, doing these pregame part, whatever. Oklahoma, Texas, biggest spread I can remember.
In a long, long time.
Long time. And if you're an OU fan, if you're out there, I know that you're one of two things. You either bleed crimson and cream. You're like, well, that's way too much. Oh, you might win this thing. That's what Texas literally was saying for a decade during the Bob Stoops era and some of those. So I get that version. The other version is OU. It's horrible. They need to fire everybody. Neither of those are correct. You're 14.5-point underdog because Texas is really, really good. And I know it's hard for OU fans to put that in the same sentence because Texas is the hated enemy of all OU people more than anybody else by far. And
ISIS, you name it. Like they hate Texas more than a lot of entities. Yes.
I mean, Democrats. I mean,
there's a giant cross section that is exactly in that corner, right?
They hate them more than all of it. More than Democrats, more than
childhood cancer,
voting machines. I mean, there's so many things that Oklahoma's hate, but none of them as much as they hate the Texas Longhorns. Atheists. I mean, the list goes on and on. 14.5-point favorite, Brandon. How's this game go? What do you think happens?
The way things went down last weekend in college football probably has, I would assume, collectively refocused a bunch of big name teams who maybe are playing quote unquote lesser opponents this week because Mizzou went on the road and lost the way they did, because Alabama lost in Nashville to Vanderbilt. That probably has refocused Texas a bit to be like, you know what, even though this is a rivalry game, we are the number one team in the country. We need to go out and establish our brand, our we to prove the point that they are the number one team in the land. Had that not happened last week, I feel like this might be a bit of a closer, more competitive game. I think Texas just swallows up Oklahoma and just stifles the run game. They obviously have a better defensive front than probably Oklahoma's faced all year, even better than that Tennessee front. I think this is a bloody Saturday.
Wow, you are optimistic. I mean,
what about Oklahoma has been shown in the last 5 weeks to say otherwise at this point?
Well, they got OU on the side of the helmet.
They got a star freshman running back or quarterback. Yeah, okay.
Do they? That's the one thing that I cannot agree with anybody else on.
Yeah.
I do not believe this kid's even the better quarterback. I know I'm in the vast minority.
Yeah.
But by the way, I'm going to predict it again. I think he doesn't finish the game, either by injury or because of lack of productivity.
Mm-hmm. And we've seen starting quarterbacks get benched in this game before, so it would not be shocking.
And they're not going to a kid that they don't know what they're getting. They know what they're getting with Jackson Arnold. Texas 4-1 against the spread their last 5. Here's what I think. I think that this the Texas offense against inferior opponents recently has not been as effective. All right, so I do think there's a chance that Oklahoma can hold Texas offense down. I think that the defense will be prepared. The defense has quietly gotten better. They weren't great preseason, but they were good. They were serviceable for sure in the first couple games, misses of time. They've gotten more efficient and better. So I think that this is and I've seen teams come into this game flip-flop where Texas was a distinct underdog, 8, 9, 10 points or so to Oklahoma, and the game was close and or Texas won a time or two because of their defense. Their offense was not that strong. They were not scoring many points, but their defense kept in the game, a couple turnovers early. I do think Oklahoma is very capable of that. And so I think this game is closer than the bookmakers would say. I think that if you look at what's happened to this point, yeah, I mean, if you're just watching the games on the field, Oklahoma can't score on much inferior talent, and they're still starting a freshman quarterback that thinks he's in high school. I get that, and I don't think that's a recipe for success. They are coming up a bye, which I think will help. You get more reps for him. You get some wrinkles you can put in for sure. But I think that there's a good chance this game's closer, at least for a while. I would play Oklahoma plus the points in the first half if I was going to play that. So they're probably getting 7.5 or so in the first half. I would play Oklahoma in the first half. I think it's close for a while. Late in the game, Oklahoma's going to need a little bit of help, I think, certainly to win and probably to cover. Now, that being said, Brandon, nobody came on here before last week and said, you know what, Vandy's got a shot. Let's go ahead and there's added pressure for being the number one team in the country.
Sure.
Texas is not without weaknesses. They've not been exposed recently because they haven't been playing a lot of really tough teams. But this is a step up in who they've played since Michigan.
You think Oklahoma's better than Michigan?
No, I don't. So I would say since Michigan.
Okay. I jumped the gun there.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I was saying since Michigan, but everybody else they play, and they haven't looked great. So I do think there's a chance. Michigan would be a favorite of Oklahoma right now. Now, if Oklahoma puts up 30, and Michigan didn't play well offensively, even if OU lost 45-30 or something, I think that game would be closer to pick 'em. I think they're two very similar teams, actually.
Okay.
But Michigan's just a little bit better on offense and probably a tiny bit better on defense. But that would be a good bowl game right now, Oklahoma and Texas. People are writing OU off entirely. The maturation of the freshman kid or them going back to Jackson Arnold and him picking up where it did before he played a really good Tennessee defense. I think they're close. They're perceived lower than they actually are right now as far as the public's concerned. FatJackSports.com. I would take under in the game. I wouldn't play OU. I'd play under the total in the game. OU's either going to not score points and get beat 35-7, or they're going to score a few points and their defense is going to keep them close. If the game's anywhere near 14, I think it's a 24-20. 17 type game where it's close at the end. OU's gotten the benefit of a turnover. It's still under the total. So under the total, the best side in that Red River shootout. I mean, you make me play it. I would take a flyer with OU. I mean, like I say, I haven't been great on OU all year, so it's not like I go on the show with Jim Traber in Oklahoma City on the Sports Animal, who's literally, if not the best sports talk host in the country, one of the top 2 or 3. And we break down 5 games every week. One of those games is always who Oklahoma plays, who Oklahoma State plays. And I don't think I've been great on either one. I had OSU last week. They ended up losing to West Virginia. So shows how much that goes. But I would lean toward OU plus the points. If you maybe play it, better play on the under. FatJackSports.com. Get signed up today. 2x2x2, buy 2 special. 2x8, 32. What is that? 2, 4, 6, 8 plays for $32. $32. First play. First, if you can't fill out the application correctly, do not sign up, please. No emails, no customer service, no nothing. Sign up, $32. It's automatic. Automated. Don't call any numbers. It's automated. It's on the website. You're going to get them emailed to you. They're on a personal portal. Go set up your PIN and your password. You'll get an email that prompts you. It's very, very easy. Even if you're not computer literate, very, very easy. We've made it to where you don't have to be real computer literate to still be able to set up your password on your portal. There you're going to receive a recommended betting guide telling you what to do with the plays. It's going to tell you how to bet them. You're going to get only selections, 2 selections, because you get the best, 2 best. I want you to win. 2 best in college, 2 best in the NFL, 2 best bases, 2 best player props, $32 this weekend only. Don't ask for it next week, and then get signed up longer term at FatJackSports.com. How are we doing on time? You want to take some hate mail? We got to take a break.
Yeah, we teased the hate mail enough in the last segment. I think we gotta pay it off here.
All right, so let me tell you, if you're out there and you're upset because you have not had the best weekend, Dave Portnoy's upset, everybody upset. Alabama fans wanting to burn down the trailer. I had an email. Brandon, do you have it there? Let's read it. So this one came. Again, when you write emails to customer service, they don't come to me. So you're complaining to somebody that, by the way, is bet on the games. I don't have anybody answering the phones that don't answer, or answer the emails that don't bet on the game. Everybody bets on the games. So you're saying, I went 2 and 5 or 2, whatever you think you went. Everybody else, if you're able to add correctly, they did that also, and they bet somewhere between 500 and a couple $1,000. I'm betting 20,000 a game. So if you went 2 and 4. I went 2 and 4. I lost $40,000. Now the difference is I played the bases also, so I was up probably $30,000 before that. I played the players props, them up with that. Played the UFC, we won in that. So it's a little different if you're just. But if you're emailing a complaint, understand nobody's the 7 of you, by the way, out of the thousands and thousands of clients, the 7 of you, nobody read them that is going to do anything about it because every one of them bet the games themselves. Read the one who won this week, though, Brandon.
Mind you, this email came in 9:06 a.m. Eastern on Sunday.
So he slept on it.
He did.
Or did he sleep on it?
Well, here's the thing. There was an email earlier from the same person Saturday night that was just a you're terrible, blah, blah, blah. Wow. Yeah, but this one, I have a feeling he woke up, processed, not realizing maybe is still mad, not realizing that he probably had sent an email the night before. But here we go.
Okay, and read the G version, a quicker version, because we got to get on other things.
The edited. I hope you die of a brain aneurysm, you piece of blank. You're going to fry in hell like bacon. First of all, bacon's phenomenal. Your opinions are terrible. You suck a blank, and I curse the day you signed up.
Wow. That guy, you know what I did after I got that? I replied to him, and I said, I am going to – thanks for the email. Because if you've taught me one thing, Brandon, it's start with thanking them for reaching out, even though I don't want them to reach out on this deal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks for the email. And then I said, I am going to pray for you and pray for some peace and a better Sunday. It's basically what I said. Because that guy, first of all, he needs to quit gambling. He needs to get some perspective. Hopefully he's not doing anything horrible to the people that he knows and he loves. I mean, I have a problem with anybody that reply. I didn't call my stockbroker when Apple went down and start screaming at him. But whatever. I don't understand that mentality. Right. But you get to that point, that guy's lost. So that one. So if you're sending them, don't send them because I'm not going to read them.
This is not a contest to see who can get on the show every week.
All it's going to do is get you blocked. That guy can no longer email us. He'll email us. It goes into the abyss. So because I'm not going to have anybody that works for me waking up on the Sabbath when they're supposed to be thinking about how they can be better and about God and about all those things. And I'm not
regardless of what they did the night before. No one should wake up to that.
I'm never going to have anybody that works for me having to deal with that on a Sunday morning. I'm just not. So, FatJackSports.com if you want to win this week. Certainly, if you have some perspective and want to win long term, get signed up and start winning. How we doing?
And as I said earlier, if you can't handle the bad, you don't deserve the good. This guy doesn't deserve.
He doesn't.
The winning that's going to come this weekend, the rest of the year. Yeah.
Hopefully, he will. He lost enough to quit. And I really, I mean that, Brandon. I'm not getting rich off any one client. I want guys to win money betting on sports. That's why I do this.
I just hope this guy can find the wherewithal to keep going to the gym. That's all I hope for.
If that's what he does, maybe he's hanging out at the strip clubs. I don't know what people do with their free time. I just know that I've been doing this for 27 years. We couldn't lose enough to put me into red. It's just not enough. There's not enough losses on the planet because I've been winning for myself and my clients for a quarter of a century. So the good news is when you win, I win. When you lose, I lose. So go to FatJackSports.com if you want to start building profit today.
Hey guys, this is the Fat Jack. Are you finally ready to get a better plan betting the games this year? Let me help. Go to FatJackSports.com where we understand that it's not the gambling she hates, it's the losing. FatJackSports.com.
Welcome back to the Fat Jack Sports Hour, and for the final time this week, here is our host, abroad in lovely old London. He is the Fat Jack.
Thank you so much, Brandon. Fat Jack Sports Hour, segment number 3. Get you ready for the weekend. Ready to make a lot of money. I always love the middle of October because you've got basketball starting up at the end of the month. You got Breeders' Cup coming right after that. So many opportunities to make money, so many sports, Major League Baseball playoffs. It's better. It's icing on the cake when the playoffs are going as well as they are, which they're going great so far, because it's just added profit. Player props are new. They're winning.
Soccer's winning. Yep.
Winning again. Gosh, I almost played more ties for those three-way market people last week, and I wish I had. About a third of our games ended in ties last week, and the guys that sent the soccer over said, a few of these, Jack, look like ties. Ties pay like 2 or 3 to 1. And I'm like, we're so far up. Let's just play where the handicapping went if it wasn't a tie. Because some people play two-way markets, some play three-way markets. It just depends. But soccer generating profit almost every single week, and much, much more. So I went to the Chelsea game, by the way.
Oh,
Chelsea
did you?
Chelsea played Nottingham Forest. And I've decided that in soccer, Brandon, there's certain, just like in the NFL, Chelsea fans are a lot like Philadelphia Eagles fans or New York Jets fans.
Okay.
In that they are pissed off about everything all the time.
If you know the history of English soccer, very valid.
I don't. But
but
I
it's
don't.
a great parallel, yeah.
But honestly, I went to the game and I told Karen went with me, and I said, God, it's like I'm in an Eagles game. These people are pissed. Gosh,
there's no one throwing batteries at Santa, but yeah, it's a very similar cross section.
Yeah, they're so mad from the get go. They, it's 0-0. They're mad. They were favored. They ended up tying 1-1. But anyway, the point is they here's my theory on them though, Brandon. They don't sing. They chant. It's all chanting. It's very irritating chants. Chelsea, Chelsea, different tones. It's all Chelsea chanting. There's no song. A lot of them sing. Nottingham Forest, they have like a football game. There's one little section of Nottingham Forest, but they have songs and they're singing. I guess Nottingham Forest and Peter Pan makes sense, but whatever. A lot of the places sing, and most of them burn down things if it don't go well. They don't go well. So I love that. But Chelsea's just mad. It's a bunch of grumpy, normally 3 generations of grumpy men.
Yeah.
That are
who all look the same, by the way.
Yeah, teaching their grandson to be mad about 0-0 and a shot on goal just as much as Grandpa was. So that's
proper uses of the F word and the middle finger.
Oh, for F's sake. So much for F's sake. So much. It didn't matter. They were so beautiful. Mad. All the time, every time. F's sake, come on. You got bloody hell. The whole thing. It's funny, the cuss words that don't matter over here that matter in America. Over here, if you say the C word, nobody, everybody.
No one blinks an eye.
Fine. They don't care. Try saying that in downtown Norman.
Oh, yeah.
Go to the OU Texas game. Find yourself a group of co-eds and just yell out, "Oh, yeah, bloody." See? See how that goes over? You're going to get beat up by the girls, and the guys are going to take their boots off with, and their skirts, start beating you with the boots. So
Won't end well. But the good news is no Premier League this weekend, but you are going to Premier League Stadium for Jags Bears. How do you feel about that?
You know what? I'm excited about it, actually.
Okay.
Because not only because, and normally when Jacksonville plays in this game, I don't care at all. But this year, and I did this on the TV show. Here's what the NFL. It's such a testament to their league that they're able to basically throw out Jacksonville because of the ownership and say, here's a representative. It's literally like coming over here and say, you know what? Bruce Springsteen's the greatest singer America's ever produced. Listen to Pink Cadillac over and over again. You're going to love it. Pink Cadillac, Dust Velvet, all that over and over again. No Born in the USA, no Dancing in the Dark, nothing like that. Let's just give them Pink Cadillac. I mean, that's basically what Jacksonville is. They're the Pink Cadillac of the NFL. And to their credit, to the NFL's credit, that has worked.
Mm-hmm.
People have come over here, or the Beatles and Penny Lane. Just let them listen to only Penny Lane. You get nothing else. See how much they like that. But they do. They love it. And they love the league. It's amazing how many have gravitated toward the other. But I'm excited for the game because you've got Caleb Williams looked better last week. Lots of offensive points on both of these. Jacksonville beats up on Indianapolis, but basically couldn't play defense all of a sudden. Chicago beats Carolina, and they play both sides of the ball. We had over in that game.
Yep.
And so it ended up being an easy win. Actually, if Carolina had executed it all, it's over almost by halftime. So that was one of the selection winners on Sunday. So I am actually excited about the game. And yeah, Tottenham Stadium is a great place to watch a football game. Honestly, it's a retractable or it's an open aired roof, but the sides come in. So even if it's raining, the players are getting rained on, but the stands are pretty well covered. So I'm excited. In that game, I think this reverts back to what we think both these teams are offensively. And so even though the totals in London, Brandon, there's been 33 London games, 17 of them have gone under. So the totals are baked in. They're lower because of the travel. People say, oh, well, there's travel and there's all this stuff. That's all true, but that's already baked into the line. The other thing to consider, or that everybody should consider, is the fact that favorites, generally speaking, over here win.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't necessarily cover, but they win. So the Bears are now up to a 2-point favorite. And so money lining the Bears, not the worst thing in the world to do. And I'm not a money line guy, generally speaking, but 25-11, the favorites have won this game. Jacksonville over here have not done that good against the spread. They're 4-5-1 against the spread, but last year they were 2-0. So they beat both Atlanta and Buffalo last year. And so 2 of their 4 covers over here were last year. So I lean toward the Bears minus the points. I think Jacksonville, a better outing for them. I think a lower scoring game. Total's up to 44.5, and a little bit of that has to do with what we saw last week over here in London. Last week with those 2 teams back in America. And so lean toward the under, lean toward the Bears if you're looking at that game. FatJackSports.com. Neither of those plays will be one of the 2 NFL games that if you sign up for that 2x2x2x2 pick where you get 2 NFL, 2 college, 2 player props, and 2 Major League Baseball playoff plays for $32 at FatJackSports.com. This is the only weekend we're going to do that. So go get signed up for that. Neither of those will be one of those during this game. So, Brandon, how are we doing on time?
We need to get out of here.
All right. Any final thoughts?
The NHL starts this week, so selfishly that works great for me. And we're getting closer to the equinox to where we'll get an NFL game, an NBA game, an NHL, and Major League Baseball all on the same day. And I couldn't be happier because that is quality TV watching.
Lots and lots and lots of profit coming up over the next month. There always is. Always is. Get all the plays. You're going to make money. I've said it for 27 years. Get all the plays. You're going to make money. Get some of the plays. You're probably going to make money. Go to FatJackSports.com. Get signed up today. Have a great weekend. Drive carefully if you're going to need these away games. Wager responsibly. Don't drink and drive. Until next week, for Brandon and the Fat Jack, this has been the Fat Jack Sports Hour.